$5 a month per customer.
Per customer.
Per customer per month. Now, depending on if it's residential, commercial, the dealer could then charge the customer anywhere between $20, $25, $30, $35 a month. We don't install any alarm system. We only provide third-party alarm monitoring. So how many clients do we monitor? It's 500,000. 95% is alarm. For a while, what we were doing with the video monitoring was we would have to deal with about 30 or 40 different VMS softwares, which was a huge headache.
How many dealers you have to achieve
Around
this?
2,000.
So dealers is installers, integrators.
Yes, when we
right?
talk about dealers, we're talking about alarm companies that install alarm systems and integrate.
So it sounds like it's marketplace. And I think you're trying to compete with Google.
I'm not trying to compete with Google. I'm not looking for the cake. I just want a little slice of the pie, that's all.
Okay. Welcome to Pipl Systems podcast. Hello guys, and today our guest is Stephanos from company Lanvac.
Thank you, Oleg. Thanks for coming. And first of all, I'd like to say we love what you're doing with your YouTube channel, specifically on the topic with the alarm industry. We haven't seen that in years, so it's refreshing to finally have a company like yours interview members of the industry. It's cool.
Thank you, buddy. Thank you. We all together trying to do something better for this industry, right? I believe all companies in our industry are trying this. And I have few questions for you. I want to remind you that, to remind our viewers that the goal of this video is to using your experience, using your knowledge to help other players in this industry to grow.
Absolutely.
To make the business better, bigger,
Sure.
More influencer. So the first question, can you explain what does it mean security monitoring company? And using your example, what services do you offer?
Yeah, sure. So an alarm monitoring company that specifically it monitors alarm systems. So you could have different types of alarm monitoring companies. A lot of monitoring companies also do the alarm installation. In our particular case, we solely do third-party alarm monitoring. So to be more specific, an alarm company will come to your house, will quote you on an alarm system, you'll accept, they'll install the alarm system, and then they may offer you professional alarm monitoring. This means that if the alarm goes off at your residence, a company like ours will call you, or depending on the type of alarm, will call the emergency services, whether that be the police department, the fire department, the ambulance, it could be a guard service. So depending on the type of alarm that we receive, we'll act accordingly on the procedure that we take. So it could be calling the emergency services, like I said, or even the emergency contact lists, a group of family members, for example.
Okay.
See, what's important about professional alarm monitoring is that there are times where perhaps you're on vacation or on holiday, you're sleeping in the middle of the night. If your alarm system goes off, what are you going to do without an alarm monitoring company? Your alarm system will ring, but where's the sense of, you get the sense of extra security if you're subscribed to an alarm monitoring company like Lanvac Surveillance.
Okay, so it's additional value of using alarm system, right? For
Absolutely, yeah.
But but if about Lanvac, so it's about only alarm monitoring or another types like security. If I'm installing security camera, can I go to?
Actually, great question. So before we jump into the cameras, apart from the alarm system monitoring, there's environmental monitoring as well. It could be sensors at a farm, temperature, CO2. It could be. You could almost literally monitor anything, especially nowadays in 2024, where technology has reached to the point where almost anything could have a SIM card and report to a central station like ours. Video alarm monitoring is offered as well. It's a little different than intrusion, fire, or medical, but we do also offer video alarm monitoring. The advantage into having into being connected to a monitoring company that provides video alarm monitoring is the fact that, again, if you're away, if you're out on holiday, if you're sleeping, and the alarm goes off because a camera or multiple cameras got triggered, our operators could then look at the cameras and not just look at what's going on in a live stream. There's also video clips that they could look at on the spot where it shows 15 to 20 seconds before the alarm, 15 to 20 seconds after. This gives the operator a full picture and understanding of what's going on and why the camera got triggered. Now, if he sees, depending on the type of cameras that the installer has installed, some cameras are better than others. That generally, especially nowadays, cameras are intelligent enough to know whether if it's just a leaf or snow blowing in the wind or if it's an actual human or a vehicle. So in that aspect, false alarms have been significantly reduced. So when we look at the cameras, there's usually always something going on. And so we'll either contact the emergency services or the emergency call list.
Okay, so it can be alarm monitoring and video monitoring.
Sure, yeah, and then within the alarm monitoring, you have intrusion, fire, medical, all the subcategories, and then video monitoring.
Okay, thank you for this information. Let's talk about some numbers to understand
Yeah,
the size of
absolutely,
your company,
Yeah.
right? So, how many accounts, it's right word, like
Yes.
do you have?
So I just want to be extra clear though before I say this.
Because I believe that you have different roles in your business, right? For your partners,
Sure.
It can be installers, it's like and this account and end users, right?
Yeah. So when we talk about how many accounts we monitor, it's our dealers' accounts. So we don't install any alarm system. We only provide third-party alarm monitoring. So our customers, our dealers are our customers, but we monitor their clients. So how many clients do we monitor? It's 500,000.
Wow.
Yeah. Canada-wide.
Okay, it's in Canada.
Yeah.
And what kind of customers? It's like residential, commercial, maybe government?
Of course. We do monitor governmental, but that's less than 1%. I will say the bigger numbers is 55% commercial, then 35% residential. And then the rest is governmental, farm, industrial, things like this. There's some grow ops, little things like that.
So 500,000.
Correct.
Some projects, right?
That we're monitoring. Yeah.
So and what's the main systems installed there? It's alarm or like video monitoring?
Oh no. So I'll say 95% is alarm.
Alarm.
Yeah.
Okay, and because I can imagine that how many, even like with this 5% of all this amount, how many cameras you need to manage, you need to control, right? So it's like, I want to say, with this huge amount, I know that you have a big team, and now we will talk about this a bit later, but I want to say, do you have some tools to make this more automatic, more smart, maybe using AI, how to manage a lot of systems, because like, it's a huge, and
absolutely,
and if you want to be effective, you need to use some smart things.
You're absolutely right. All the dealers across the country, they almost all use something different, right? There's so many different alarm manufacturers and camera manufacturers, and so that's a good question. How do you get all these different manufacturers to integrate into one platform at Lanvac? Well, what's cool about Lanvac is our automation platform is proprietary. We don't pay license fees to a third-party software company. It's our own software. We wrote it ourselves, and we continue to develop it week by week, meaning it's tailored to the alarm dealer. What that means is the alarm dealer has a suggestion, they tell us, and if it makes sense, we'll implement it, and that'll benefit all the dealers that are at Lanvac. How we automate all these things is, well, it's through our own software. It's you have the alarm side and the video side, like you said. On the alarm side, we've been doing it for so long. It's just part of our recipe. I don't know, like how can I explain? I can't jump into details on exactly technologically how we do it, but we do it. It's you see
So it's always process that you like you developing your software to make this more automatic.
Yes, but also when it comes to the alarm stuff, there's a standard. Okay,
Okay.
there's a few different alarm protocols, but they're standard. There might be 5 or 6 of them, and as long as you could integrate those protocols, you're okay. On the video side, it depends on the technology that you use. On the video side, we've actually made some major changes recently. For a while, what we were doing with the video monitoring was we would have to deal with about 30 or 40 different VMS softwares, which was a huge headache. Okay, it was not efficient. So we would force the dealer to connect the DVR or NVR to an alarm system. So then when the camera would trip, it would trip a zone on the panel. Then we would receive the alarm. Then that would prompt the operator to then log into the DVR, look at live view. By the time he logs in, if he could log in, it was a mess. So what we decided to do is we got rid of all those VMSs. Because how can you be efficient or automate anything if you're using 30 different platforms?
Right.
So what we did is we decided to use one. Okay, and so
VMS?
one VMS that's compatible with all camera manufacturers.
Okay.
This is the checked bridge. Have you heard of it?
Yeah, it's a US, I think.
Yeah, so that's made by Optex, which is a very reputable company.
Okay.
The checked bridge is a little device that could be integrated with any camera manufacturer. So this if it wasn't for that, we may have gone out of the video alarm monitoring business because it wasn't making any sense. Now with the checked bridge, you integrate it with any camera manufacturer. Then what happens is you don't need to associate an alarm system to it anymore. You can if you want, but you don't need to because it's the check bridge that will send us the alarm signal. Once that happens, the operator will also receive 2 things: a live view stream of the triggered cameras and the video clip that shows 10 seconds before the alarm, 10 seconds after.
To understand, is false alarm or like...
Yes. See, the biggest advantage here is now the operator isn't playing detective, looking at every single camera, what's going on, why did I receive the alarm? The check bridge shows the operator what he needs to look at. He looks at it and makes a decision. Call the police, call the residents, or maybe it was just nothing and we override as a false alarm. That's made the video alarm monitoring service with Lanvac super efficient.
It was a game changer. For your business.
Now, another thing that's cool about the check bridge is they have the ability to turn on what's called a AI cloud filtering. So for camera installations that already exist, and the dealer wants to offer video alarm monitoring to this customer, and he already has a camera system on site, he just needs to install the check bridge, activate the Signal Cloud AI filtering, and you've just turned your camera system intelligent. So what that means is if there's a leaf blowing in front of the camera and it triggers, checked will first pass it through their cloud filtering service. It's a leaf, we won't report it to Lanvac. That's basically what that means.
Great. And again, 500,000 customers. How many dealers you have to achieve
around
this?
2,000.
2,000
Yeah, across Canada.
So dealers is installers, integrators.
Yes, when we talk about dealers, we're talking about alarm companies that install alarm systems and integrate, exactly. Yeah, so about 2,000 alarm companies. Of course, they vary with how many accounts each one of them has. I think we could probably say that we dominate the small to medium size alarm company because we really cater to all of the dealers. It's just that it's very easy for an alarm company to hook up with Lanvac. Our onboarding system with alarm companies, even if you're just starting out, even if you're a brand new alarm company that doesn't have any customers, our onboarding system is very quick, very efficient. If you call me up tomorrow and you're interested and you want to sign up as a dealer, we could have you up and running within 24 hours.
Okay.
Whether you're small or big.
So you you doing this very fast.
Yes.
So comfortable for
Yes.
for your partners, for
Yes.
installers.
Yeah.
Okay,
So,
because
yeah.
I want to say that before our when we start to record this, I spoke with you and I told you like my vision that like I have a lot of friends installers,
Yeah.
some from Ukraine, from different countries, local installers in Canada, in US, and they do installation and they don't do like they don't sell monitoring services for customers.
Yeah.
And can we like talk about some numbers to motivate them to do this,
Absolutely.
to
Sure.
start do this?
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Because I
of
heard a
course.
lot of things that like they don't want to like
Look,
waste their time.
There's nothing we hide. We're completely transparent. The prices you could find online. You could ask anybody. There's, so
It's
this
maybe
is
some
this is
traditional residential
sure.
project.
This is what it is. You're a brand new alarm company.
Okay.
You're installing alarm systems. You decide that you want to offer alarm monitoring to your customers. Okay, you sign an agreement with us. Straight up, the first 2 months are completely free. So we're not billing you anything for the first 2 months. We call this the grace period, where you learn, you meet our team, you learn how to use our software, you do some bench testing, make sure you know how to connect the alarm system to the central, whatever it is you want to do. On the third month, that's when we start billing you. And so it's basically about $5 a month per customer.
Okay.
So now, if
Per customer.
per customer per month. Now, depending on if it's residential, commercial, the dealer could then charge the customer anywhere between $20, $25, $30, $35 a month. So the dealer has an opportunity to make a big profit just from connecting the customer to monitoring.
So imagine that, for example, some installer, he did installations like few hundreds installations for his like history of his company.
Yeah.
So he can go to his customers and sell your services.
Yes.
And will earn on every customer. Like
Yes.
for example, residential, so $25-$30 he can have this like margin in his own pocket.
Absolutely.
And
And so you have 100 customers, you're getting somewhere here now every month.
It sounds very good, but I think it must be some like challenges maybe or something like what maybe is the main challenges for installers to do this? Like what do you see like for them?
Honestly, what I see, there's a few different things. The first thing I see is there's a lot of alarm companies, successful alarm companies, that have just gotten used to installing the alarm system and then selling it off to another company, maybe a big telecom, or selling off the monitoring portion, selling off the contract to another company,
okay.
instead of billing it himself through a third party like Lanvac. Instead of for him to see, if he sells that monitoring contract to another company, and that company, for whatever reason, makes a mistake and screws up, it's the reputation of the alarm company after that's hurt. And so the customer now is saying, well, why didn't you hook me up to your monitoring station? Well, the alarm company doesn't have one, but he could have had one with Lanvac. One of the benefits being with Lanvac is we could be completely white labeled for the dealer. You see, what that means is when the customer calls the central, we could answer the phone with the alarm company's name. We represent the alarm company. When we call the customer to say, hey, there's an alarm at your residence, I'm calling from ABC Alarms, not calling from Lanvac.
Oh, really?
I represent the alarm company. It's as if the alarm company has their own central station.
So it's really like partnership.
Yes. Yes.
Oh, it's
yes.
nice.
Yes. Not only that, the email reports, the SMS reports, it's white labeled to the alarm company. The Lanvac doesn't exist to the eyes of the customer, unless the dealer wants it.
Of course. Okay, so it's a very interesting business model. Like I don't know about like other companies which do security monitoring the services. Like, is it unique what you do? But for me, it's like it's very like it's opportunity like for installers to grow their business.
Yes.
And even I heard this idea that like when you're doing some business like alarm business 10, 20 years ago, 20 years, and then you decide, for example, to sell this, so they can sell all their data, right?
Yeah.
to some another like installer or to some bigger company.
Right.
So do you know like what numbers, for example, for one account, what price if I want to sell
Um, Look,
on the
'cause
market?
we're really not in the retail game. As you know, we don't do any
Mhm.
installations, we don't buy any accounts. But from what I could see, if you're an alarm company and you want to sell off the contract to another company, it's usually the monthly rate times something. I think it's times 15 or times 20. I'm not too familiar with that
Mhm.
aspect of the. We don't really look at that stuff. We don't
Okay.
know.
No,
We
it's
actually don't know.
okay. It's interesting, like to for installers to understand, like again, it's about advantages
Look,
for them to do this business.
here's the difference. If you need cash now, they will sell the contract to the other company. If you're looking to build a future for your alarm business, for your alarm company, you connect the account to your own central station, which is Lanvac, because then you make profit off every account every month, and then you grow your business. But some dealers, they need liquid, they need capital, so they'll sell. You know what? There are situations where a dealer will sell just a portion. You know, let's say they have 1,000 accounts, and we monitor the 1,000 accounts for them. We see sometimes the dealer, if they need some cash, they'll just sell 10% of it to another company. Now they have extra liquid. Now they can go out and get more
So you can
installations.
invest in their own business.
Yeah, exactly. And we see the hybrid model too.
Okay, and if we're talking about your customers, your dealers, will you see what products they use, what brands maybe of equipment they use mostly to understand like and again maybe the same question, like do you sell equipment to them too? Because I think you can do this, right?
Yeah, actually, good question. Now, it's interesting you ask because as a central station, we basically see like what everybody is using. So there are statistics. I'll say that traditionally, maybe 25, 30 years ago, there was maybe you had DSC and Honeywell pretty much dominating the industry. Now, more lately, you see a lot of other players coming in the game. We have Bosch, we have Ajax, right? There's ICT. There's InterRange too a little bit, DMP a little bit. I can't give you exact numbers, but we basically we're integrated with every alarm manufacturer. Okay, so there's Paradox as well. There's all kinds. Now,
So-
who's more connecting more than the other? It's very hard to. It's a big mix of stuff.
Okay, so it depends of installer what he
yeah, it depends on the
prefer.
installer. We see installers using at least two different brands. One that's maybe more of a residential situation, or one and then a different brand that's more of a commercial situation. So we see, like, let's say for residential, we see a lot of Ajax, and then we see a lot of Bosch when it comes to commercial, something a little more high end or complicated.
Okay,
Now, your question on selling products, we do have a sister company called NBG Telecom that we started about 7 or 6 years ago. NBG Telecom, the goal is to give dealers the tools to compete against big telecom. That's basically straight up the message. And so what we did is we used Lanvac's dealer base as leverage to get the best prices possible from certain manufacturers. So that's how we became an authorized partner for Bosch. We sell a ULC fire kit that the best price in the industry, where the dealer could buy from NBG, and it competes very heavily with other fire kit brands. So that's one example. The goal is to give the dealer the best prices possible on alarm products for certain brands.
but for you it's another business model. It's distribution, right?
Absolutely, yeah, absolutely. But it's not your traditional distributor.
Yep.
It's really tailored to what the dealer wants. So this is what we did. We looked at Lanvac's dealer base. We said, okay, there's 15% of our dealers that do just fire. Okay, what can we sell to them? Well, that's where the Bosch ULC fire kit comes in. We have another market where, let's say, 45% of our dealers, they buy a lot of universal cellular communicators. Okay, who can we partner with to start selling them that? Well, the M2M, right? There's also the Epic. Okay, so the product that we'll sell, we do a lot of market research first. We don't just sell anything, and it's one or two things per category, right? So like we'll have one or two universal communicators, we'll have one fire kit. We also have a camera brand, so we sell GSD.
Okay. Yeah, we know.
Shout out
GSD
to
very well.
Riles, nice interview.
Thank you. Riles.
Yeah, we sell the GSD camera brand. We're open to have discussions and partnerships with others. It's just these are the people that are giving us a chance.
Okay.
If I can say it like that.
And you have all like categories of security systems, like cameras, like video surveillance, alarm systems, fire systems.
Yep.
And like and you focusing only on your dealers, right?
Correct. Only in our dealers. We don't sell to customers. We only sell to dealers. Just like Lanvac, we don't sell directly to the customer. It's only to dealers. Yeah.
So it's like, in distribution world, it's like value added distributor, right? So it's like you value added monitoring company.
Exactly. Yeah.
Okay,
exactly.
Okay.
So there's a third part to this. It's a smaller part, but we're launching a website in the new year. We're going to launch called findmyalarm.com.
Okay.
Findmyalarm.com. Its sole purpose is to give our dealers new leads.
Yeah, it's my next question about leads for your dealers. And what's this tool?
So you're a Lanvac dealer, first of all.
Okay.
First and foremost, you have to be of a certain size, and you have to go through a little check with us to make sure that you give good service. And so what happens is you get the alarm company gets listed on findmyalarm.com. It's free for the dealer. We will do the marketing, and what happens is if a customer is frustrated or fed up with his current supplier, alarm company, whoever it might be, they can go to findmyalarm.com, they put in their postal code, and it'll list them 3 to 4 alarm companies in their area. 3 to 4 alarm companies that are customer service oriented, that they'll know they could trust. And so if they pick an alarm company, and they naturally it'll get hooked up to us because of the alarm company. So here you see like the coming full circle, right? An end user wants an alarm system. He goes to findmyalarm.com, ends up with an alarm company that's connected to Lanvac. The alarm company now needs to buy equipment. They go to NBG to buy the products.
Right.
The products get installed, and now they need a monitoring company, Lanvac, to connect the system.
Oh, that's smart.
That's the goal. That's the idea. Now, my vision for findmyalarm.com is to eventually have ads on the radio, on TV, the Bell Center. Now,
Yeah,
of course, that's like years into the future. But you need a goal
Yeah, of course, like for some future.
Of course.
And findalarm.com, right?
Findmyalarm.com.
Myalarm.com. So it sounds like it's marketplace. And I
Yeah.
think you're trying to compete with Google. It's like Google My Business.
Well, listen, I'm not trying to compete with Google. I'm not looking for the cake. I just want a little slice of the pie. That's all.
Okay.
That's all.
And do you plan like to have there some reviews for these companies? Like for example,
Absolutely,
end user
yeah.
can put
Eventually.
some-
Yeah.
and then
sure.
compare this company. And for your dealers, it's like for free to be there, or
Yep.
it's like some,
Yep.
or it's in the future will be some subscription.
I don't know. We'll see. Time will tell. For now, it's free.
Okay, nice. And about leads, you mentioned about leads. So
Yeah.
this tool, it's like you will help to your dealers to find new leads. But now, in your experience, when you I think you talk with a lot of installers around you, what's the main successful way for them to find leads? Maybe because it will be like recommendations for our viewers.
I spoke to one of my dealers the other day because I was talking to him about findmyalarm.com, and I actually asked him that very question, and he told me that a very interesting approach. He looks at, on Facebook, you have different cities have their own Facebook groups.
Right.
Yeah, so you have
even in Montreal.
even Montreal. I'm sure you have the Montreal North Facebook group,
Yeah.
this and that. Okay, this alarm company, they have a few employees and they scan through all the groups because at least once or twice a day they'll find someone that says, "Hey, I'm looking for an alarm system."
Yeah.
That's one way. I mean, that's pretty creative if you ask me.
So it's digital.
That's a digital form, yeah, of
Okay.
course. That's a digital form. There's, I know other dealers, they spend money on Google ads. There's a lot of companies spending money on Google ads to show up on top, alarm system. But you know what? For us, the number one way we've acquired dealers, if I can say it like that, and perhaps maybe that's probably the number one way alarm companies acquire customers. It's the power of word of mouth.
Of
The
course.
power of word of mouth.
I think it's basic.
It's
right?
yes,
It's basic.
it's powerful. It's because if you maintain your reputation for long enough, and you maintain the same quality of service, especially throughout COVID, word of mouth, man, is top.
Yeah, it's. I think it's only the question when some company wants to grow to scale his business and very fast. Then they go to like advertising, to
Sure.
some additional.
And we also
tools.
see other companies when they get big enough, they buy other companies. That's one really fast way to acquire more customers,
Yeah,
right?
again.
They'll buy another company.
We spoke with Vincent about this.
Yes.
From Secure Plus.
Props to Vince. Very nice interview.
Yeah, it's good example of what he.
Absolutely. Yes.
So Stephanos, can we talk now about history of your company?
Absolutely. So Lanvac surveillance has been around for a little over 40 years. It's an intergenerational family business serving all of Canada. It was started back in 1983 by my father John and my uncle Bill. So they actually started off with an alarm company, an installation company. And so, I think right around the year 2000, they had about, they had a few hundred customers. And then they decided to start offering third-party monitoring because they realized that there was a lot of other local alarm companies that just simply couldn't operate their own central station. So my father and my uncle, they started offering alarm monitoring, third-party alarm monitoring for them. And then what happened one day? Well, my father goes to quote on a job, and there, right next to him, also was another alarm company quoting on the same job. But that alarm company was also my father's customer because he monitors their accounts.
Oh.
So my father, after that, he's thought, we got to change this. Like, we can't compete with our own customers. Yeah. And so that's when my uncle and my father decided to sell off the retail part, to sell off the installation alarm company part, and only focus and maintain the third-party monitoring. So then, Lanvac was born. 40 years later, we have most of the family members working for the company. How you have my older brother George, that's head of information technology and cybersecurity. My two cousins, Nick and Tiana, they're in the accounting department. And so, did I forget anything? No. So, it's cool because we're like a glorified mom and pop shop. Our number one focus is customer service. And so now we have multiple central stations across the country.
How many?
We have one in Montreal. Well, the one we're in right now, the one in Montreal. We have a second one currently being built on the island of Montreal. Both ULC certified for intrusion, fire, and financial, as well as our Toronto Central Station in Scarborough, which is also ULC listed. We have a few remote offices out west that don't necessarily house receivers or servers, but we have remote offices with operators, treating alarms. And we have a small percentage of our operator fleet working remotely. And I'd like to explain that further momentarily. Now, there are two main things that separate us from the competition. One is we do not compete with the alarm company. As I told you before, and as the history shows, So what that means is we don't do any installations, we don't buy or own any accounts, we simply focus on third-party alarm monitoring. And what's also especially important to alarm companies, what's especially important is you have to ask yourself, what do you think happens if you subscribe to a central station that also does installations? What happens when you decide to leave that central station?
Because they have all information.
They
right?
have your client list.
Yeah.
Is that smart? Think about it. The second thing is we have live answer at our stations. This means that when your customer calls in to, let's say, report a false alarm or to check the signals, we have an operator that will answer the phone right away. Your customer won't be waiting on hold for 45 minutes, and you don't have to go through a complicated, 1 million option auto attendant, and then they never really reach anybody. We have live answer, which means our operators will answer the phone right away and help your customer. We have a few different departments that do a few different things.
Sorry, because my next question was about because we spoke about business model. Now it's about structure of your company, but again, it's traditional monitoring company. Like not the structure will work not only in your business, right?
Sure.
So what if I will want to open security company? What departments I need to have?
Yeah, so which departments you need to communicate with Lanvac, you're saying? Okay, so first and foremost, the number is on our website, lanvac.com. It's right there. If you call it, I'll answer. We also have the founders line on our website. This literally means you could call either my father John or my uncle Bill directly. You could speak to the founders today if you go to our website and call the number. So that's the first thing. You call us, and then I basically ask you a few questions. I'll send you the contract. You'll sign it digitally. I set up your account. I get you going within 24 hours, and then you receive a welcome email. The welcome email tells you which department to go to depending on what you need. So, for example, transitioning into now the departments, the number one department that the dealer or his technicians will be communicating with the most is our dealer support team. Mm-hmm. Our dealer support team department is a collection of employees that specifically are there to help the dealer and the technicians, whether it be putting a system on test, checking for signal history. Maybe the dealer has a hard time, has a problem, sending a signal to the central station. You call our dealer support team and we'll help you out with no matter the type of alarm system you're using. That's what that department's for. It's focused on the dealer and its technicians and helping them, connect the panel to the central.
Okay, but mostly it's technical support.
That's mainly, yes, exactly. It's mostly technical support for the dealer. We have our investigations department. So this is a department that's dedicated to creating reports for the dealer. Maybe it'll happen where the customer, will make a complaint to the dealer. We take every single complaint extremely seriously. What happens is we'll generate a complete report for the dealer that includes the alarms received, the timestamps, what actions the operator took, and will include the voice recording between the operator and the customer. We're completely transparent and honest. If the operator, for whatever reason, was rude or did a mistake, we'll own up to it and we'll correct it immediately. So it's a win-win in that aspect. We're honest, we'll show you everything we did, and if there's something to do on our side, we'll fix. If not, you'll have to speak to your customer. So there's the investigations department. Now, we have two other departments that specifically take care of alarms. We have the FCC department, First Contact Center, and the Alarm Processing department. The FCC department, their sole job is to answer the phone. That's it. That's how we provide our amazing live answering service. They're only there to answer the phone. So if a customer calls in, reports a false alarm, or whatever the case may be. The Alarm Processing department is truly, I think, what separates us from the rest. It's the operators that dedicate themselves to process alarms, whether it be calling the police, the ambulance, the fire department, calling the customer, reassuring the customer, asking them if everything is okay. It could be a two-way medical call. It could be a fire. It could be anything. They are truly the heroes of of Lanvac surveillance. And so we try our best to make sure, do our best to take care of them. And so we have the alarm processing department we have multiple alarm processing departments. So that's like the bulk of our business. It's the labor that takes care of the alarms. And so of course we have our accounting department, our IT department, and our sales team, which is me, my colleague Yanni, I have my other colleague Jake, and actually we're looking to hire someone else for the Quebec market. So
it's a good.
Hey, if anybody is looking for a life-changing career here at Lanvac Surveillance, I'm open to talk.
Oh, great! I think like some viewers from Montreal. It's mostly a job for Montreal, or it's like remotely.
It could be remote, but it's the Quebec market.
It's Quebec, so it's French. English language, and like you told about structure and about how many people you have in your team, like here in Montreal and like in Canada.
Our total employees is a little over 100. That includes the operators, the sales, the IT, everything. Yeah, it's a little over 100. Operators specifically, anywhere between 60 and 70.
Wow. And maybe you have some interesting stories, like when your colleagues spoke with people, maybe some interesting situations for all these years in your company and with 500,000 customers. Or it's like privacy?
It's private.
Private.
It's private. It's private, Oleg.
Then next question is with all these customers, it's like you have a huge data. What like maybe you use some advice? What do you have advices about cybersecurity, about protection of this data? Because now in our days, I think it's honestly it's a huge question.
That is the number one priority, the number one thing, and so that's why we have my older brother George taking care of that. Thank God. He's the best when it comes to that. I have no idea how any of that works, but we have the right certifications and procedures and things in place where you'll see certified. So apart from that, we have the right appliances in place to defend ourselves from that. By the way, most importantly, our database, okay, let me just say it flat out, it's not on the internet.
No,
no cloud. The database is not on the internet. Let me just say that. And so if you want to dive more deep into our cybersecurity thing,
it's maybe for next videos.
Perhaps the next video. It's also a little confidential, but of course it could be another video with my older brother George. But I'll tell you this.
The customers can be sure that everything protected.
The customer's data is not on the internet. Period.
Okay, yeah, it's good.
Yeah. Part of our automation platform, we rid it ourselves, so we could do almost anything we want. We created a means for the dealers and their technicians to do their own changes. For example, we have a web app called Lanvac.mobi. Okay, and Lanvac.mobi does equal and more than any other app or web app from any other automation platform. For example, on Lanvac.mobi, the dealer could upload their own logo and colors, okay?
Okay.
Because, I'll explain. They could give access to their customers so that their customers could modify their own emergency lists. Nobody else can do this, okay?
Can you give me a specific
some
example?
Yeah, of course. So some alarm companies have some customers that want their emergency contact list to change almost on a weekly basis. It takes time for the dealer, it takes time for Lanvac. So for these customers, we've offered a way for them to be able to change their emergency contact list themselves. So of course, when the customer logs in to the web app, they see the alarm company's logo, not Lanvac's, and they only see their account, and they could put their system on test, check for signals, they can modify their own emergency contact list. For the dealer, them as well. They could easily, through our search, find any customer they want, whether it be through account number, address, postal code, city, whatever the case may be. They could find the customer, place it on or off test, check for signal history, request for reports. They could create new customers on Lanvac.mobi and modify customers on Lanvac.mobi. And and we just keep improving it every week. We keep adding on new features and new services on it. The dealer now, back, let's say 10, 15 years ago, when we would receive, 1,000 calls a day into the dealer support team, now we'll receive maybe 100 calls a day because the dealers and their technicians now have the tool, Lanvac.mobi, to do whatever they need to do right away on their own.
And this service like for free or it's...
Free, absolutely free. Yes, of course. Also, all reporting is free, whether it's emails or SMS, live, daily, weekly, monthly, any reports you might need, whether it's alarms, openings and closings only, test codes, all that stuff, all the reporting and the Lanvac.mobi app is free. Through Lanvac.mobi, they could even look at their invoices, they could look at their billing, they could do a lot of things on Mobi. And like our automation platform, Mobi is tailored to the dealer, meaning it was built off the feedback that alarm companies give us. The alarm company wants something on Mobi, we implement it, benefits everybody. And we do it within a week.
I'm thinking about who creates this all additional services in your company. It's who, you said that you listen to your customers, right? It's like someone listening from your team and do it in real life these projects, because I see it's very smart, because like any business, security monitoring businesses is I think it's huge competition in Canada, in US.
Yes.
So you trying to create additional services which will be a value for your dealers. So you focus
absolutely
only on dealers.
There's a button on Mobi that says, click here for any suggestions, and almost everybody at Lanvac will receive the email with the suggestion, and then we'll have a little discussion, see if it makes sense, implement it.
Yeah, it's for me, it's honestly very interesting. I believe for viewers too, because I'm newcomer to Canada and I'm newcomer to this monitoring industry. And what I heard from you, it's something amazing for me.
Thank you, Oleg.
Again, I think in feedback, in comments, we will have some questions to Stephanos. I will ask Stephanos to reply to these comments. Maybe
no problem. Sure.
Vincent, you can give your email and then people can connect directly with you.
Yeah, of course. Look, if you want to email me, first of all, you can call me directly if you just go on lanvac.com. But if you want to send me an email, it's Stephanos@lanvac.com.
We will put in the description.
Oh, there you go.
This email. Okay, Stephanos, thank you for this interview.
Oleg, you're the man.
Amazing.
Thank you.
And I'm super happy.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, buddy. Okay, it's done.
We put my hat on here.
Ta-da! Nice.